I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you either get it or skip it for the new 2025 Nissan Kicks S in super black over charcoal. This year, we have increased horsepower by 19, torque by 26, rework electronic CVT transmission, all-wheel drive option. But is this enough to get it or skip it? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to compare this against the competition, throw in some pros and cons, and I'll throw in a problem that I have later on in the review for the drive part of why I'm a little disappointed with the new Kicks. The front, you're gonna notice that refresh that is welcome. The V-Motion grille is still there. It's a little bit more futuristic. The SR will have it colored, integrating into the LED headlights in daytime runnings. The SR will get LED fog lights. 8.4 inches of clearance is what you can get out of the Kicks, which is over an inch over the prior gen. And it's the best in class, which gives me the first reason to get it, because when you're talking about Honda and Toyota, I like having that extra clearance. Also, giving us all-wheel drive on all trims. Now that's gonna lower the MPGs to 27 for the city, 34 for the highway, but then the engine. You got a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder, 141 horsepower with 140 pound-feet of torque. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot of motivation because it's 19 horsepower with 26 pound-feet of torque over the prior, but in the same category, this is a small vehicle. It has increased in the interior and length and width, but really it's just by inches. It's not a huge difference there, but it gives a lot more room for a subcompact SUV, which is the second reason why I would get it. But the first reason why I would skip it is they pair it with the electronic CVT transmission. Now it has been reworked, but you have to service these things every 30,000 miles in order to keep it optimal. 16-inch wheel covers, 17-inch wheel covers go onto the SV. The SR can go up to a 19-inch wheel, but when you're at a low $21,000, $22,000 price point, I'm gonna accept that. Kicks on the side view mirror, you want them heated, you gotta go into the SV and add the premium package, which will also give you the panel moonroof. The lower is going to be sporty, and I like how they've kept it distinct because the Kicks itself is known to have that sporty essence, and they still have that today. Now, towing is not necessarily recommended, but you still have over 700 pounds payload, which is awesome for this type of vehicle, because again, it's a subcompact SUV. LED taillights, the futuristic look comes into the back more squared off. The lower gets the reverse sensors, reverse camera, and this year you could get a 360-degree reverse camera. You're not getting these features on Toyota or Honda or Kia or Hyundai. But Nissan is going that extra step, giving a lot more reasons why you want to go Kicks. Not only because of the price, but even the safety they have tweaked. With automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, rear automatic braking, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, and high beam assist. And going back to the competition, they're not gonna have this many standard features at this price point. Quick release going into an increase 30 cubic feet. That's 4.7 cubic feet more than the prior. You have a little storage cubby on both sides. Underneath the floor, you'll have 3 tiers of storage. And because I'm tall, I'm gonna split fold the rear bench in the back at that 40-60 split, and that will fold down nearly flat, increasing cargo to 42.1 cubic feet, which is 9.8 cubic feet more than the prior gen. The key fob to the new Kicks. Cloth seats is standard. Premium cloth seats go into the SR with another first ever zero gravity seats. Power seat adjustment go into the SR. Heated front seats is an option on the SV that can also give us the panel moonroof, but a heated steering wheel is only going to be on the SR as an option. And the refresh is definitely welcome for the interior of this cabin. 4 speakers is standard. Bose 10 speakers is only going to be on the SR. Let's fire it up. Nissan Intelligent Touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. This is a 7-inch. The 12.3, you have to go into the SV and the SR. Both 2 of them will have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, you get a standard reverse camera. Now when you go into the SR, 360-degree reverse camera. That's crazy for this type of vehicle. And a 7-inch digital reader that can go through an array of different content for the driver, including your safety settings, a multi-function steering wheel. I just like how more performance driven it is. Flat bottom is standard, flat dashboard layout, auto dimming rear view mirror goes up the tier. Climate control, wireless charging pad will only be on the SR and the SV. It's going to be with the matte black. I kind of wish this was a pass-through, but this is the cool thing here. You can fit a 30-ounce tumbler inside here. So if you like to drink something very cold, that's awesome. Open up, it's a smaller storage pocket with a 12-volt. USB-C ports. You can have a total of 4 going into the SR. Here you're only going to have the 1. Driving mode select. We have the snow mode because we have all-wheel drive. That is also new for the year. Check out the leg space that you have. And it is a driver-focused setup, so it's not going to be the best view on the passenger side. But for headroom, it works out perfect for both occupants. Dashboard and door panel configured together. I kind of wish that this silver would integrate into the door, and you're going to have hard materials everywhere except for your armrests because you have the cloth inlays. One touch up and down for all the windows, which is also something that you're not going to usually get at this price point. And here you can fit a 32-ounce Yeti in this pocket. For the back seats, that's the opening that you have. For me, a con, I'm tall, so I always hit my head going into the back. I'm gonna try not to this time. The door is stripped of every single material except for giving you that 32-ounce Yeti capabilities. Oh, I didn't hit my head. Leg space is not bad. If you want a seat pocket here, you can add that on the SV. Otherwise, you only have it here. 2 USB ports will be on the SV and the SR. There isn't any armrests or cup holders there. Headroom, but a con to me right off the bat. This is kind of a family vehicle, and yet there's not enough cup holders. Sliding into the center, you're going to be sharing some feet space, but it's also a little bit better in leg, but shoulder space than the prior. Knee space, if the seat's back, it's going to be a little compromised. I'm over 6 foot tall, but headroom, I mean, I can fit. Taking the all-new Kicks out for our test run, 141 horsepower, 140 pound-feet of torque. That's up 19 horsepower and 26 pound-feet of torque over the prior rework Xtronic CVT transmission, up to 8.4 inches of clearance. Do I sound excited? Yes. Why? Because when you're looking to get a vehicle that is inexpensive, it's really hard to capture all of this value in one, especially for a subcompact SUV, because typically you're at over $30,000. Now, this example today that we're showing is just a little bit over $25,000. They did add the mud flaps and just maybe $200-ish of features, which is not a huge deal breaker there. But even going into the SR, you're just barely over 30 grand, and you can get a 360-degree reverse camera. And now to see the performance of that increased horsepower and torque. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not gonna be the fastest vehicle in class. But you're not gonna take this on the track. You get great MPGs, comfort to the vehicle, because we have 16-inch wheels. McPherson front strut suspension, going all-wheel drive, gets a multi-link rear suspension, which is a key component, because if you go front-wheel drive, you will have a torsion beam rear. So the drive can be a little bit more comfortable on the front-wheel drive, but on the all-wheel drive, it's going to be a little bit more pleasurable. But even with that being said, the weight distribution is like 64, 36, so it's not something that's really crazy. Maneuverability is absolutely no problem. It actually feels like a little sports car picked up. And I know in the comments people are gonna say, what the heck are you talking about? Just the way they did this hood design, it's very sporty, driver-focused interior, the steering wheel giving the flat bottom. It's gonna take me to some pros and cons. You've heard a ton of pros, but there's still just a few more besides it being class leading in clearance, getting all-wheel drive, optioning or getting a 360-degree reverse camera when you go up into the SR, more interior space, best in class cargo capacity, But then on the con, we still have the Xtronic CVT transmission. The pro is we have a 4-cylinder engine, because if you go into the Rogue, you're gonna have a turbo 3-cylinder. So it is something to consider. You're gonna pay a little bit more money going Rogue. It's a little bit bigger in the interior and also longer than this. And this year, they have a Rock Creek Edition, which we have in the channel. Just check it out. It's actually a really cool vehicle. I would go to the Rock Creek because it has that off-roadsy look. But coming back to this is a bargain because you're getting so much more with safety, everyday usability, and now it's all-wheel drive. Sound deadening is a little bit better in this. I like the digital screens. I dislike the 7-inch. Last year we had an 8-inch infotainment screen. I wish that was the standard screen instead of the 7-inch. And when you go S, it kind of feels like a rent-a-car. I would recommend going SV unless you get a crazy deal with this particular vehicle. Now we have changed it into standard mode opposed to sport, and you will feel a difference in that Xtronic CVT transmission. The way the pedal feels, it actually makes the vehicle feel a little bit more heavy, which was an issue with the prior. So if you put it into sport mode, it kind of livens it up, ticking the RPM and changing the gear ratio a little bit more so it makes it feel lighter and kind of easier for that everyday drive. I like how it feels small, but yet they utilize a ton of room in the interior. Going against competition, that would be the final reason why I would pick this, is because you have so much more and better value than anybody in its class. And braking on the vehicle, this is a hard brake. It actually stops really good, so it doesn't feel so heavy there. Turn radius and more or less the stop point is gonna get about 1.5 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's gonna have that drone note that comes in, but again, at least it's not a turbo 3. And the last reason why I would skip this is because when you're in the S, you're only maybe a couple grand less than the SV, and you get a ton more value going that direction. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank our friends at Brandon Nissan for giving us this 2025 Nissan Kicks S for our car review.